What's up guys, Braden here with Super ATV, and today we're going to be showing you how to install this tinted roof on this Kawasaki Mule Pro FXT. So let's get right to it. So the first thing you're gonna do is grab your foam out of the kit. You'll have 3 rolls, and you're gonna wanna start applying it around your cage. So as you can see, our cage already has the foam applied. We previously had this roof installed, but you'll just wanna apply it in the same way that we have ours. So we'll start here. If you have a windshield installed, you'd start right at the edge of your windshield here. Run it all the way back. If you have a cab enclosure, you'll wanna notch around this clamp, and you'd follow it all the way back to the top of this tube before it starts to bend down. This center section here is gonna get a piece of foam. Same thing over here on the side. It's gonna match the passenger side, same exact thing. And then right here in the center, what you're gonna do is run it all the way up to where the cage bolts together here in the front. Run it all the way around. And we'll have to come back in and make a notch on this piece here for our clamp, but that's fine. Go ahead and run it all the way across to the same location where you started. So once you have your foam installed, what you're gonna do is come to the center of your cage, as center as you can get it. I gauge it off of this little hoop right here, this grab handle. Just line it up the best you can. Notch your seal or your foam, just like we have ours. And then we're gonna grab one of the clamps out of the kit. So this clamp, you'll just wanna take the hardware out. It'll be loose when it comes from Super ATV, so you can just easily unthread it by hand. You'll just pull it apart, separate the hardware here, and you'll see it has a little piece of seal. So this little piece of seal is gonna lay down inside of this clamp, just like so. And we wanna start the seal right below the bolt hole. So we're just gonna feed it all the way around inside the clamp until we get to that same location on the opposite side, and then just tear it off. It's just as easy as that. And what we'll do, the side that has the notch on it is gonna be the nut side. So that's where your nut's gonna go. So you wanna make sure that the flat hole that doesn't have a notch on it is facing towards the rear of the machine. And then we'll just take it and slide it on the cage. And as you put this on, watch your fingers, because it will snap together and it can bite you. So your top or your lower portion should look just like that. And we'll take the upper portion and just lay a little small piece on the opposite side of the threaded hole. So here's the threaded hole. We're gonna just take a little piece of foam, lay it right there, and then just tear it off. So then we'll take this clamp, line it up just like it was whenever you got it out of the kit. We'll grab our bolt, slide it through the clamp, and then before you get it all the way through the other side, what I like to do is grab the nut that was on the clamp before you disassembled it, and then also grab the Allen wrench, put the Allen wrench on the Allen head, and just take this nut and you're just gonna line it up in the notch just like it was whenever you got it out of the packaging. And we're just gonna hand start it with the Allen wrench. We still wanna be able to move it around right now. We don't want it to be so tight that we can't adjust side to side whenever we get our roof installed. So we'll just leave it just like that. Yours should look just like this with the threaded hole facing that way. And we can scoot it around, get it lined up however it needs to be. So same thing right here. This is just the center bar of the cage. You just want to get it lined up as centric as you possibly can. If you need to take a measurement, take a measurement. Just find almost as perfectly center as you can here. We'll just disassemble this clamp just like we did previously on the front clamp. Set the hardware aside. Take the upper portion, split it off the lower. Grab our foam. We're going to grab our foam, apply it in the same location as we did on the front clamp. Just feed it down in there the best that you can. And then remember, tear it off before you get to the bolt hole. You don't want it to cover the bolt hole, and you don't want it to be too close to the bolt hole, or it's going to make it pretty difficult to get this clamp together. So we'll just take it, slide it over this center bar. Again, watch your fingers. It will pinch you pretty good. We'll grab our upper portion here. Remember, we're just putting a small piece on the opposite side of the threads. I'm just going to line this up just like so. Grab your bolt, your Allen headed bolt that was already in the clamp. Get it close, grab your Allen wrench. Okay, nut. Get it lined up into the groove. And then just take your Allen wrench and get it started. So it should look just like so. You still want to be able to move it around. Like I said, you don't want this thing to be so tight that whenever you go to put this roof on, you can't get it manipulated or slid where it needs to be. I like mine to just be barely started. It's not going to fall off. It's exactly how it needs to be right there. So you're going to grab your rear portion of your roof. You can tell this is the rear portion. It'll be the shorter of the two, and it'll also have this lip so it lays down the back of the cage. You want to make sure that you lay each section of your roof on the cage of your machine to confirm that it fits. Once you've done that, you'll just want to go ahead and peel the protective film. So now we're going to grab our upper hinge bracket. We're just going to lay it on this section of the roof just like so. Make sure it lines up with the holes, and this is the upper portion. So this is the top section of the roof. If you're looking at it, this would be the bottom underneath. This is how it's going to lay on the machine. Then you're going to grab two M6 by 30 millimeter Allens with two nylock nuts, as well as your rear hinge bracket. We know this is the rear hinge bracket because of the bend it has on it, and it's just a nice square all the way across. There's no additional tabs like there will be on the front. We want to make sure the opening is facing towards the rear section of the roof. So this would be towards the back side of the machine. Then what we're going to do is take it, lay it up on the bottom side of the windshield, and grab our M6 by 30 millimeter hardware, line the holes up, install your Allens here, only in this hole here, and then the same one on the opposite side. All this is going to do is just help us hold this while we get our hinges installed. So we just want to get the hardware started there. And we'll come over here to this hole as well. It'll be the only holes that are by themselves. The rest of them are in pairs. So get our hole lined up, drop our hardware in, and then just go ahead and get the hardware good and started here. So now it'll just kind of hang like that. Now we're going to grab all three of our hinges and 6 recessed Allens with 6 M6 nylock nuts. So these hinges are going to line up with the paired holes. So it'll be just like this. You'll take your recessed Allen, drop it in, and come along to the bottom side and get your hardware started. And we're just going to continue this process for the other 2 hinges until you have all your hardware started. Once you have all this hardware started here, you can fully tighten it. Now you're good to go to fully tighten all your hardware. Now we're going to grab these brackets here out of the kit. You'll have a left and a right, or a driver or a passenger. This one here will be the passenger side. You just want to make sure that the shorter section here is facing the rear, so it's on this rearmost bent portion of the roof, and then the long one is going to lay up here on top. So we're going to take it and install it just like so. And we're going to be using our M6 by 30 millimeter hardware with a sealing washer on it. We want to make sure that the seal portion is facing down towards the roof. We're going to use the same M6 nylock nut that we've been using. We're going to go ahead and get it started on the threads. And let's go ahead and snug up the hardware. So now we have the front portion of our roof laid up here on the table. We're gonna need to grab our upper hinge mount as well as our front lower hinge mount. The reason that we have these two portions of the roof elevated like this is so that we can couple them together. Otherwise, there's not really a great way of doing it on the table, being able to show you. So right off the bat, we're just gonna do the same thing, remove our protective film, and then take our upper hinge mount, get it lined up with our holes just like we previously did. Nothing changes there. And then the lower is gonna need to face just like this. So as you can see, we still have the rear section here. It's gonna need to lay like this. So we're just gonna take it and install it directly to the front portion of the roof, utilizing the exact same hardware in the exact same locations. Nothing changes on the hardware on this section here to this section here. So like I previously said, we're going to be utilizing the same exact hardware in the same exact locations. Now we're just going to take the front portion of the roof and couple it to the rear portion of the roof. This is easier if you have somebody to help, but if you don't, you can get it. Like I said, you just have to get the roofs elevated. Now you're going to fully tighten all the hardware. So now we're going to grab our bulb seal out of our kit. We're going to flip the rear portion of the roof up, and we're going to apply this bulb seal along this bracket here all the way to this point, and then cut off the excess. Once we get here, we'll cut off our excess. So now that we have our roof prepped, we're gonna go ahead and get it installed in the machine. I have Jordan here helping me today. I advise you to get somebody to help you. This roof can be kind of cumbersome if you try to install it by yourself. So now we're going to grab one of our 4 spacers in the kit, and we're going to come to the passenger front corner, and we're going to slide this spacer to line it up with the hole on the frame that lines up with the hole on the windshield. Once we've done that, we're going to grab our M6 by 30 millimeter hardware with the sealing washer and an M6 nylock nut. Just going to drop our hardware through. Then we can move right back here to this next hole back and do the same thing with the spacer and same hardware. We're going to grab our large hardware out of the kit. It'll be the largest Allen headed screw and the largest sealing washer that we have. We're going to install it to our clamps that we previously installed to the machine. We'll do the same thing. And like I said, utilizing the last little bit of hardware, the largest hardware in the kit, Go ahead and get the hardware started into the clamp that we pre-installed to our cage. So now we're gonna grab our strap, make sure that the Velcro side is facing up, slide it through the rear bracket on the roof, then take this side of the strap, slide it down in between the cage. We are on the inside of the machine now. Pull it down tight, and then hook it back to itself and tuck all the excess up into this corner. So the last thing you're gonna do is go through, fully tighten all your hardware, make sure your roof's adjusted how it needs to be. Once you've done that, that's all there is to it to install Super ATV's tinted roof on this Kawasaki Mule Pro FXT. Be sure to check the description below to pick yours up today, and while you're there, drop a like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.